Hi everyone, this is Nancy checking in with Chapter 13 on writing common types of stories. And I just thought I'd tell you that the reason I have to appear so up close and personal every time is that I'm filming this on my iPad. I don't my computer is not a laptop, so I don't have a camera. So anyway, if you have to stare at my face each week, sorry. Anyway, writing writing other types of stories. So prior to this, we have written stories on a lot of different subjects. We've covered in earlier chapters. We've covered things like federal and local government issues, election issues, politics, local, national, world news. We've talked about speeches, meetings. We've done interviews. This time we're going to do the kind of Clark Kent type stories, the stories that the reporters rush forward to get the scoop on. We're going to be talking about these stories, the preparation for them, and actually writing them. The type of stories that are talked about in the chapter include stories on fires and accidents, stories on crime, stories on court issues, and life stories, or essentially obituaries. Now, as always, the preparation is an important part of our storytelling, and of course, for this, you'll get your sources from different ways for some of these stories. For instance, the fire and accident, there won't be time to do any background checking, so most of your story background information will come from later, maybe from police departments and fire departments, but the story will come as much from eyewitnesses as much as anything. And then obviously you can go research. Have there been questions like, have there been a lot of accidents at that particular site before? With fires, look at the number of fires that have occurred this winter. In fact, I was thinking the other day that due to this warmer winter and less use of heat, there seemed to have been less house fires than usual. That in itself might make a good story. And then of course for your crime stories, a lot of that will come from the police and from backup information. The court story probably is the most difficult to understand the background if you don't have a legal background yourself. The Adam Liptak, the Supreme Court writer for the New York Times, he has a law degree, and I think that's true of many that cover major law cases. They actually have to know an awful lot about the law itself before they are qualified to write a story on the subject. And let's see, and then the life story, of course, that depends on a lot on where the obituary is going to be published. If it's a local person, you're going to have to usually, in fact, local news reporters don't usually write the obituaries in our local papers. They're either written by the funeral home or by the family, so that's not a particular issue. If you're writing for some big newspaper, I guess you go to all the the normal sources of. I'm sure that newsrooms have full information on just about anybody that would be, if they die, is famous. They must have vast biographical information that can be pulled out immediately. I'm thinking of when Antonin Scalia died a week or so ago. I don't think that the newsrooms across the country had much trouble getting information. They get the information and keep it up to date constantly, is my guess. And I think it's very interesting in local obituaries these days. There are more and more private information that's being written into the obituary. For instance, it never used to say the cause of death, or infrequently the cause of death would be mentioned. Now it's very usual to have a person indicated that a person has died of, let's say, pancreatic cancer, very specific. And I think another interesting change in the way people do things is that people associated with a family member who've died of a drug overdose are now very, very open to that. The heroin situation here is so bad that families feel that if they publish the information that a child, for instance, a young person dies of a heroin overdose, that it's important to note this in the obituary to bring the problem to people's attention. I think the one thing that's still hidden is suicide. That seems to be a barrier that is very difficult to cross. So anyway, okay, so this week we had a chance to write a crime story for our assignment, and mostly our stories have been pretty bland, but you never can tell. Dr. J may send us out chasing a fire engine next week. So see you. Bye.